Hello and welcome to the Lost Sector Collector. Today we shall be going through not actually any lost sectors, but instead some fallen have actually appeared. The House of Light with, I believe, Miss Rax is his name, as the Kel, which is the leader. I figured we could go and see their new home. I'm in orbit right now, just over Earth. And we must go to the Eliskni quarters. Now, recently, the Fallen have seeken refuge from the House of Dark. I'm not too sure, but they, under the guidance of Ikora Ray, have been allowed to come into the last city and seek refuge and housing until maybe they find a new foothold. As you can see, I've changed my look. I have noticed that the helmet I was wearing had started giving me a bad headache, most probably due to the light, but I am a fan of the glow. I don't know why, I find real peace in it, and so I figured we could look around. Now, I've actually been here before. I was a part of a raid team that took out the it was another fallen, actually. It was some sort of Kel scourge or something. They were trying to steal some weapons and armor from the Black Armory, which was hidden from most Guardians in Vanguard. But because of fallen mishaps and attacks, the Black Armory was opened to all Guardians, but it was cleared out, so afterwards we couldn't really, it was just one and done. As you can see, this is what remains of the attack. We lost the good cities here, good buildings and such. A lot of people had to leave and evacuate. As you can see, though, the Vex have actually taken our sun. They've put us in a simulation in the real world, and they've simulated the sun going away. So there are some Guardians trying to figure out how to do that, or how to get our sun back, and how to figure out which Vex mind is taking over. But as you can see, the Traveler, I believe, is protecting us. Otherwise, we would have probably been frozen, or at least the humans would have been frozen. Guardians, on the other hand, are full of light and, well, now darkness, so they require nothing really. They just come back from being unfrozen. Anyways, let us continue. There are actually things here that we can see, and this is the Fallen encampment. And as you can see here, this is the house, I believe this is the House of Light symbol. We can actually interact with this, but just give me a few seconds to turn the dialogue and the music down. Alright, let us listen to what this interact has to say.
Eliskni houses are more than tribes for sharing work and resources. They also represent living philosophies. In many ways, the House of Light is traditional. We worship the Great Machine, and we embrace ancestral roles like splicers and scribes. But in other ways, we're different. My father, Mizrax, is Kel of our house, but he does not act as past Kels. He does not take more than his share of ether, and he does not punish by docking limbs. These are radical, but popular ideas in our house. However, Mithrax Kell also believes in peace and cooperation with humanity. This is less popular. Everyone in our house has seen Eliskni killed by guardians. Not just warriors, but innocents and hatchlings. I lived for many years among the Awoken, and understand that humans do good things as well,
Let's look around while
sometimes.
this is talking.
But the others in the House of Light have not been so lucky in their allies as I have. It will take time to earn their trust.
Sorry about that. As you can see, the fallen do not trust humanity, but that is also true for humanity not trusting the fallen, because basically as soon as the fallen got here, they saw us as, they saw humanity as stealers and thieves of the great machine. They did not believe such a devanced, like, I forget the word, my apologies, but they didn't believe such a race could actually be chosen by the traveler. And so they attacked us, and it started a big war where many people died, and they talk about innocents and babies as well, but there are also numerous lore pages and books and just history in Destiny 2 of fallen eating children and babies as well. So it's kind of this, everyone was just misunderstood, which led to really bad wars and everything, and this went on for centuries. And it wasn't actually until a Guardian team had come across Mithrax that they just let him go. They just didn't shoot him. He was facing a hive, and he kept getting stuck in Vex technology, I think. I'm not too sure. You always hear something different from during strike parties that come back. But basically what ended up happening was they just let him go and just let him take what he needed. And in return, he helped us get a weapon called Outbreak, which was a Siva and would have actually really done us damage. The Fallen really like Siva. And, well, they don't like it as much, but they see it as a sort of weapon, because the Fallen are really, really good with machines, to the point that they can even talk to Vex machines, and those guys are known, the ones that are great at machines are called splicers, and the splicers were also the ones in with the Siva, but that went terribly wrong, and they basically just got controlled by the Siva. But there's the splicers like Mithrax, who supposedly is the last splicer, or is, it's right now he's the last splicer, and he's actually helping most Guardians get into the Vex network, and not through just a simulation, like their actual Vex network. Like if Vex die there, they die. There's no coming back from that. And because of the light, they can get farther than Mithrax can. Anyways, on to the next one. So there's just basically a war going on. This is actually a symbol of Saint 14. I don't know what it's going to say. I've heard rumors, because Saint 14 is basically their demon. Because Saint 14, like a couple other Fallen for humanity, killed a lot of Fallen in his day. So let's just hear what it has to say about this.
Some Eliskni tell hatchlings that these wards keep Guardians from attacking us in our sleep. We know this is not true, of course, but it helps hatchlings to rest peacefully. Soon enough, they must learn that the Guardians cannot be stopped by such things. That they cannot be stopped at all, even by death. After that, the ward changes meanings. For grown Eliskni, it's a reminder that the great machine blesses life givers and killers alike. But now that we have seen the Guardians among their own people, taking orders and making awkward small talk, I don't think this tradition will continue in the House of Light. We no longer see guardians as monsters, just people, frightened and misguided.
Again, guardians are extremely... It's not that they're misguided, it's that this whole situation was just miscommunicated because shit just happened, I guess. And yeah, so this is the Saint 14. You know it is because it's purple and it's basically his helmet, and that's the helm of Saint 14 that he always wears. And if I can get into Saint 14 for a little bit, he was actually dead for like hundreds, 200s of years, and we, lore-wise, brought him back, and he actually sees us as like a god, like we are the guardian. Like there's guardians, but guardians, most of them die, but we are the guardian. We with the help of Osiris, again, used Vex technology to right when he died, like right as he was supposed to die, we plucked him, and we saved him, and then he went through everything. He went right back, and got out. So that's the paradox of Saint 14. He's actually both alive and dead. There's one form of him still in the Vex simulation that we find first that's dead, and we find him on our way trying to help beat another hive mind through Osiris. But the darkness has taken over Mars, so we can no longer go and visit brothers and the Tower of Osiris, the lighthouse. But yeah, so we finally save him, and instead the Vex can't kill him anymore because they've wasted so much resources and power trying to. So we leave, and then he returns back in the Vex Gate. He's been dead, but we saved one of them. We saved one of the Saint 14s where he comes and goes through the Vex Gates. That's how he fixes it, so he doesn't go back. We don't save him and then he instantly goes back to the past. He skips the time he's been dead, basically, if that makes any sense. So the timeline is very linear. It's just that as we were saving him, all that time he had to get out of the Vex network. So we went into the past, and this all happens. And this is what a lot of people get confused about it, is the fact that Saint 14 is a paradox. He's not an alternate timeline. It's a linear timeline that has just routed itself back. The only thing that's changed has been like our timeline, but even then it's still going forward because we've just gone in the past of the world's timeline, if that sort of makes sense. But anyway, so yeah, Saint 14 is just regarded as the demon of the fallen because he talks about how many he's killed, and he regrets it sometimes, but sometimes he's kind of happy that some of them are dead. Anyways, let's continue. I wonder if I can... here we are. So this is actually the... I don't know what these are called. Maybe they don't... It's a brig, but it's kind of a different brig. It had a servitor in the middle controlling it. And the servitor was this thing was basically impenetrable. And we had to turn it off to kill the servitor in the middle. And this thing was quite difficult, honestly, because we realized halfway through that the electromagnetic pulses, if they didn't match as we were shooting, we'd actually hurt ourselves, and we'd have to restart all over, and that would give the Scourge the time to basically heal back, because again, it is a robot, so it doesn't really feel anything, and it can just fix itself. So we would all die, and then we'd have to figure out why, and then halfway through we realized we had to connect. There was continuous electrocurrent, and then there was continuous angular and something something. I forget what it was. A P word. I forget what it was. Parallel maybe. But anyway, so yeah, you had to match up, and we realized halfway through that we were all getting like, hey, we have there's two continuous. We have to stick together. But anyways, let us listen to what the Ido has to say about this.
Here lies the remnants of Kel's Scourge, a dark period in Eliskni history. After the whirlwind, many Eliskni were overcome by feelings of hopelessness. They were homeless, hungry, and hunted by guardians and hive alike. So when Cynics founded Kel's Scourge, promising to return Eliskni to power with ancient weaponry, many were drawn to his call. Though the Scourge claimed to fight for Eliskni empowerment, in reality, they represented the final degradation of our culture. A once great interstellar civilization was reduced to an anarchist mob, led by a power-hungry coward. Let ours be a cautionary tale. No matter how enlightened a culture, there are always those who prey on our worst impulses for their own gain.
So, if I remember correctly, basically there was this house, and then there was the House of Darkness that was sort of called something else, made by Aramis, who is now frozen. And basically they were both trying to figure out a way to kill guardians. And one of the ways that guardians can die is actually through Siva, and that's Outbreak. Or at least they don't die, they kind of get to the point that they're controlled. They're basically dead. Like they're still alive, but they have no functions or anything. And then I don't really know what this Kel Scourge was going to do, but he did make some massive machines, and this was actually like one of the first brigs we ever saw. And then once this came up, a lot more started showing up. Not as big, there are still some big ones, but they're mostly small, and they're not powered by servitors. It's very weird. I actually don't know what they're powered by. There's just, once you pop open the front, there's a big red glowing like electrical power outlet thingy, and it's just, I don't know what they're powered by. It's very interesting. Maybe there's Fallen in the thing. This is one of their ships, I believe. This is I forget what they're called. A Kel. I have one of my own actually, not as big, but still. Not much I can say about this, honestly. So let's just listen to what Ido has to say.
Many Eliskni spend their whole lives on ships. They become more than a home. They're like a member of the family. Mizrax found me in the vent of a wrecked ship, you know. We joke that my father is a splicer and my mother is a catch. After the fall of our homeworld Reese, Eliskni scattered across the stars. Having lost our grounding, catches evolved from modes of transportation into permanent homes. Even after Eliskni began to resettle in places like the reef, we never lost our reverence for the machines that kept us alive. Now, after so much wandering, it's hard to believe that there's real ground beneath us and a real sky above.
Catches, that's what they're called. Yeah, they're called catches. Alright. So yeah, as Ido has said, they were living in these for like hundreds of years because they couldn't really find a place to live and whatnot. And I don't think, I've never heard, I know they can eat food, but what truly keeps the fallen alive is actually what's known as ether. That's kind of their food source. So that's why they could live in this without water or shelter or anything, is because their main food source that makes them grow and actually increases their size by a lot depending on how much they consume, is ether. And it's made by the servitors, who are based off of the travelers. As far as I'm aware, I don't know. That's kind of why Aramis really hated servitors and shanks, is because those were kind of made after the traveler sort of came to their home and gave them a new golden age. And then, of course, the traveler left, so the servitors were reminders of what the traveler had done to the fallen. Now, I'm wondering, is there any more I could do? I could show... maybe there's a couple more. Here we are. I think these are their... I never know what these are. I never know if they're fuel containers or what, but... Oh, look at the fallen babies. They're little bean boys. Look at the little fallen babies. But anyways, let's interact with this and see what happens.
Humans think of ether as food for Eliskni.
As we were just talking about.
That's only partially true. Ether also catalyzes physical maturation and promotes molting. In that sense, it's like hormones in human adolescence. In a world of unlimited ether, like Rees before the whirlwind, all Eliskni look like captains. That's our final form. Most Eliskni you see now are underdeveloped. They're forever stunted by ether rationing, which began as a necessity and gradually evolved into a mechanism of social control.
Well, that just sucks.
Now, ruthless leaders like Spider use the distribution of ether to keep their followers dependent.
Spider can suck it.
If the Eliskni are ever to live in peace, we must make ether available to all, regardless of rank.
I wonder if there's a way to make it, because again, they said about unlimited ether in Reese, but I'm wondering how they could accomplish that on Earth. What machines would they need? Huge machines? Would they need like an oil tank kind of machine, like an oil rig? Or no, I don't know how that would work. As you can see, there's not much here. I believe some fallen are sleeping on the ground. I could be wrong. No, it doesn't look like there's anything here. There's a fallen keeping an eye out. More fallen babies. This one's got one on its back. I find it funny how the fallen babies are just kind of beads, I guess. Sorry, it's quite nighttime and I'm very tired. Oh, is this, is that supposed to reference the Traveler? Let me look.
During our golden age, the Eliskni civilization spanned many star systems, farther than humanity could imagine.
I wonder if we could go.
And in all of our exploration, we never found anything more wondrous than the Great Machine. It's one of the few things that all Eliskni houses can agree on.
That's fair.
That's why shrines like these are made of many small pieces. Each bit was added by a different house. It's a tradition that lasted generations. Most of those houses are now extinct, and their members are scattered.
That's mostly because of our fault.
It's funny. I revered the Great Machine all my life, without ever having seen it. And now that it's right overhead, I still look to this shrine for comfort.
That's fair. I mean, you associate the Traveler with this rather than getting used to it. The houses, I'm trying to remember. I know there's the House of Light and Dark. There's the House of Wolves, the House of Dusk, I believe. Those are the only ones I kind of know. I'd only recently become a guardian after the Red War happened, and nearing when Aldrin, now known as Crow, was killed and then revived, I suppose. But that's a story for another time. Is there any more? It looks like they're like either doing tests on the machine or... here we are. What is this? Some kind of device.
Hello, my name is Ido.
This is Ido showing
himself.
himself.
Of our house. I took my my name from his first awoken friend, Sierra Ido,
Ah, that's where I've heard the name
a
before.
scribe for the House of Light. It's my job to preserve our house's history, so that hatchlings may one day learn our stories.
It's a good story.
Mizrax Kel requested that I leave some records for the humans of the last city, so they might learn about Eliskni culture in their own time.
Sounds good.
As he says, inside a catch, everyone breathes the same air.
That's a perfect impression.
Though I have doubts that the humans will care to hear our stories, the snipers who look down on us do not seem like the curious types.
Why are there snipers?
But the great machine has chosen them, so I must give them the benefit of my faith. Hopefully this effort does not go wasted.
Alright, yeah. Well, it's not going wasted, Ido. Oh, there's another one? Where? A bed? What is this?
This shank has been with us for many years.
A shank? Where?
She's temperamental, but loyal. She's in need of constant repair, but we're used to it.
I'm
Our house
lost.
has
Where's the
fixed
shank?
every part of her, from sensors to exhaust. So when I look at her, I don't see an object. I see the members of my house.
I'm
I see
actually
myself.
very confused.
To
I
us,
cannot see.
Machines are vessels, not
I do
just
not see a
tools.
shank.
This is why scrapworking is so important to Eliskni culture.
Well, just
It's
listen,
a
I
way of
guess.
sharing our spirit with the world, even when we have nothing.
Ah, so mechanisms are more
I'm
spiritual.
sure that Guardians feel the same way about their tower. It's more than a hollow form, more than the rubble it was built from. The tower is the keeper of the Vanguard spirit, and you would defend it more fiercely than any other building.
She's
Is
not
it
wrong.
not so?
She's not wrong. A lot of people do get upset that we still can't go back. Excuse me, we still can't go back to the old tower, which you can actually see from the new one. It'd be really nice. The helm's kind of like it, but not as close. As you can see, this has been destroyed, but this is actually where we'd go down to get the pulses from fallen electronics and machines. You know, I always wonder if people come down here like Guardians do. Do Guardians ever come down and just go underneath or at least close to the Traveler? Because the Traveler is huge, and it's just a wonder to behold, honestly. I don't remember the Traveler being this close though when I was fighting it. Of course, I was also dealing with a big giant machine, so I don't think anyone really noticed because there was a death warrant right in front of us. This is where we could spawn tanks that could also do some damage to the servitor. I wonder. Oh, interesting. It says that my ghost is saying I can summon my vehicle, but it doesn't look like I can't. It doesn't look like I can. Sorry. There were a lot here. Hold on. There were a lot of fallen snipers up in these buildings. You basically had to hide in them. Otherwise you were screwed a lot, because up here, over there, and over there, as you can see, there's actually fallen over there. But yes, yeah, they would hurt you very much. You basically had to take them out, hide in cover, crouch, all that jazz, right? It was a wonder. It was fun. I love sometimes, I know I'm like usually on patrols or whatever, like regular patrols, searching for supplies, but it's nice sometimes to be in a more combative experience, especially under a team Really helps. Helps me keep grounded. I think they're repairing these. I could be very wrong. This guy seems to be repairing these. I don't know what these fallen are doing. Hello, fallen. Alright, that appears to be it, actually. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's it. Well, let us just, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this recording gets to you and that you would also like to come down here and experience the stories and history of the fallen yourself. I do hope that humanity and the fallens can work together. I know that the future war cult are spreading propaganda, and at least that's the rumors I've heard, and that they're spreading like they really don't like the fallen and that they think they will be our downfall. But I don't think that's the case, because we both are guided by the traveler, and I'm wondering if sometime down the future will the traveler actually support the fallen again? Will there be fallen guardians? I assume if there were, Mithrax or Mithrax would be the first to actually obtain being a fallen guardian, and that would just help us our fight against the Hive, the Darkness, and the Vex, because those are the real three big enemies, because they know nothing but assimilation and destruction and war, while the Fallen and Cabal are mostly democratic sort of houses or races, sorry. But as always, guys, this has been the Lost Sector Collector signing off. Have a good one.